Hi, this is Dr. John Stanko, and I thought I would talk to you in the few minutes we are together about the first book I ever wrote, Life is a Gold Mine, Can You Dig It? And now I have a daily devotional to go with it. And in Life is a Gold Mine, which I first wrote in 1995, I then revised it and updated it several times along the way, but most recently in 2017. And in Life is a Gold Mine, I present what I call the 5 gold mine principles. So we're going to do a series of 5 videos, short videos. This first one is on the first gold mine principle, which is the principle of purpose. And of course, if you have followed me or if you are aware of any of my work, my website is purposequest.com. I started teaching in 1991 all over the world on how to find your life's purpose. So that for me is the foundational gold mine principle of life is a gold mine, can you dig it? So we want to talk in the few minutes we have today, just whet your appetite about what you can find in this book. Both of these books are available on my website. I will tell you at the end how you can access them. And I know they will be of benefit to you. The 20th anniversary edition. I always start my purpose presentations in Acts chapter 6, where it says, in those days when the number of disciples was increasing, the Hellenistic Jews among them complained against the Hebraic Jews because their widows were being overlooked in the daily distribution of food. So the 12 gathered all the disciples together and said, it would not be right for us to neglect the ministry of the Word of God in order to wait on tables. Brothers and sisters, choose 7 men from among you who are known to be full of the Spirit and wisdom. We will turn this responsibility over to them, and we'll give our attention to prayer and the ministry of the Word. Now, there are a lot of important principles in those few verses. One, the growth of the early church provided a lot of problems, a lot of good things, but there were some challenges too. One of them was because the apostles had so many things they could be doing as the church expanded, they had to determine what it really was that they should be doing. What was their purpose? And there's some key phrases. They said it would not be right for us to neglect the ministry of the Word of God. That meant there were some activities for them that were wrong. Not because the activities were evil or bad activities, but for them, it didn't represent the best of what they could do. And the same thing is true for you. There are good things that you can do, but is it the best? And what is the best? The best is your purpose. It is what it is that you were created to do. So they go on and they had them choose replacements or people who they could turn this responsibility over to them so they could give themselves to prayer and the ministry of the Word. Now, when they prayed, buildings shook. What is it that you do that when you do it, you shake the world? When they gathered a crowd and talked to people about the Lord, people responded. What is it that you do that people respond to? That could be your art, that could be your business leadership, that could be your teaching. Those are clues as to what your purpose is. Now, we're just giving you a general overview in this, and obviously want to send you to my website, want to recommend these books to you to dig a little deeper about how to find your purpose. To be effective, to be fruitful, you must know your purpose. Everybody in the Bible that I can find was somebody who had a purpose. Now, very quickly, how do you define your purpose? Because it's no good to talk about purpose. It's no good to talk in general terms that you have a purpose. I want to help you get as specific as you possibly can get about what it is that you are created to do. And in the book, I tell the story of how I find my purpose, which is to create order out of chaos. I tell the story that I have never been unemployed in my life, or not for 5 minutes. I've never had to go looking for a job. Ministry opportunity has always come looking for me, and they're always the same. My purpose is to create order out of chaos. The chaos finds me, and I bring order. When I bring order, it's time for me to move on. And it's on that foundation that I have a purpose, that I have gone out to help as many people as possible to find their purpose. Now, how to define your purpose. Some simple steps you can take, and if we have time, I'll leave you with some questions. But the first thing you do, and the biggest reason I found is that people don't know their purpose, is they haven't asked. They don't expect an answer. And so let's substitute the word calling for purpose right now. If you are called to do something, that means there is a caller. Somebody is calling you to do this. Therefore, if you're seeking, you go to the caller, and the caller, which in my case is the Lord, is going to reveal to you what that purpose is. But you don't do it casually. You don't do it in a matter-of-fact manner. You have to do it in a matter of desperation. And in Proverbs chapter 2, verses 2 through 5, it says, if you cry out for understanding and seek it as hidden treasure, you will then find the fear of the Lord and understand the wisdom of God. And so you've got to seek for it as hidden treasure. What if you knew there was a treasure in your backyard? Would you dig one hole? And if you didn't find it, would you give up? No, if you had the guarantee that it was there, you would go back and dig another hole, and then you would go to the next level until you found that treasure. That's the kind of desperation you have to have where purpose is concerned. So you've got to seek. You've got to be asking questions. You've got to keep asking them until you have the answers. And of course, you have to do it in faith that someone is going to respond to you. And so in Life is a Gold Mine, I tried to prepare you for that. A second thing is, don't overlook the simple things. Very often people have come to me to find their purpose, and they'll tell me, I have no idea. I said, no idea. No, I have no idea. I said, well, would you like to drive an 18-wheeler? And they say, no. I said, would you like to be a brain surgeon? They say, no. I said, would you like to be a deep-sea researcher? And they say, no. I said, well, if you had no idea, you'd have to say maybe. I said, but the very fact that you say no to those things gives me an idea that you have a general idea of what your yes is. And so I try to press people a little deeper. What do you do when you're free time? What do you do that you don't get paid to do, but you really enjoy? Where do you get the greatest results in life? And very often as we keep whittling it down, I call it the funnel effect, as we keep getting more narrow in our discussions, people will say, I love working with teens or teens in crisis or the elderly, or I love to write poetry, or I do arts and crafts. And we start to investigate that whether or not that could be their purpose. And they say, is that it? I thought it was going to be something otherworldly. I thought it was going to be different than who I really am. So I encourage people, don't look past the simple things. And I try to help them focus on that. The third point, so first one is seek the Lord. Second one is don't overlook the simple things. And the third one is be willing to work. In 1 Corinthians 15:10, it says, Paul said, by the grace of God I am what I am, and his grace toward me did not prove vain, but I worked harder than all of them, but not me, but the grace of God that was in me. You may be doing something, work to make a living, to pay your bills. It may not be your purpose, and you start your purpose work at 5:01. You devote your weekends to it. You would devote your free time to it. You give yourself to it until perhaps such time that you can do it full time and it can support you and your family. But you've got to be willing to work. You can't say, well, I'll do this when I'm retired. I'll do this when I have more time. So you seek the Lord. You don't overlook the simple things, and you are willing to work. Now, in just the few seconds we have remaining, some questions for you. What would you do with your life if you had all the money you needed to live on? Is there anything you do that causes you to forget what time it is? And maybe even to take a meal. You get so into it, it's so exhilarating that you lose track of what time it is or your own physical needs. What activities in your life have brought you the greatest joy? And why are you afraid of that joy? Why don't you pursue it more? Well, those questions, and there are many others in my book, Life is a Gold Mine, Can You Dig It? And the Life is a Gold Mine, Can You Dig It? Daily devotional. And so want to make sure you can go to my website at urbanpress.us. These together are $25. I encourage you to invest in yourself and we'll start out. You'll start out with the first gold mine principle of purpose, and in the next one we're going to talk about goals. So this is John Stanko signing off. We'll be back again soon.